Imagine losing 30 years of your life for something that never even happened. No crime, no body, no truth, just one man and a lie that the system refused to see through. This is the story of Daniel Reed, a man who spent 3 decades behind bars for a crime that didn't exist, and the student who proved it. A story not just about injustice, but about what happens when truth itself goes missing. Chapter 1. The Day Everything Changed, Summer 1989. Maple Creek, Ohio. A quiet American town where everyone knew everyone. Nothing bad ever really happened there, until that night. It was a Friday evening when Lena Carter, a 29-year-old nurse, clocked out of her shift at the local hospital and never made it home. Her blue sedan was later found near the river, keys still in the ignition, driver's door open, and her purse left on the seat. The entire town panicked. News spread fast. Local woman vanishes near riverbank. Foul play suspected. Police swarmed the area. Helicopters hovered. Volunteers combed through woods and fields. But by midnight, there was no trace of Lena. No struggle, no witnesses, just an empty car and a growing sense of fear. And then, someone said they'd seen a man walking by the river around the same time. A quiet factory worker named Daniel Reed. Chapter 2. A target is found. Daniel was the kind of man most people didn't notice. 42 years old, worked double shifts at a packaging plant, lived alone in a small rented apartment, never married, rarely went out. In a town that needed answers, Daniel's solitude looked suspicious. Within 48 hours, detectives showed up at his door. "Mr. Reed, we just have a few questions." He cooperated. He told them he'd been home watching TV that night, a baseball game. No one could confirm it. His word wasn't enough. A single witness claimed they'd seen him walking near the river around 9 p.m. It wasn't a positive ID, just a man in a brown jacket, same height, same build. But that was all police needed. They brought Daniel in for questioning. What started as an interview turned into an interrogation. For 12 straight hours, under hot lights and cold coffee, they broke him down. They told him he failed a polygraph. They told him they had evidence. They didn't. And eventually, exhausted, terrified, and confused, Daniel muttered, "I don't remember anything." Maybe I blacked out. That one line, taken out of context, became his confession. Chapter 3. The Trial of Convenience. The trial was a spectacle. Local media painted Daniel as a cold loner. Reporters followed his every move. The prosecutor stood before the jury and said, "This man ended Lena Carter's life and threw her body in the river. He's a danger to society." There was no weapon, no body, no blood. Just that one shaky witness and Daniel's exhausted statement. His lawyer, an overworked public defender named Mr. Ellis, met him twice before trial. The jury was 12 townspeople who all knew Lena by name. The verdict? Guilty. Life in prison. Daniel's mother sobbed in the courtroom. His father turned away in disbelief, and Daniel, stunned and silent, whispered to the guards, "But she's not dead." They didn't listen. Chapter 4. Life inside prison has a way of erasing time. Days blur, hope fades. For Daniel Reed, every morning started with the same metallic clang of his cell door. He became inmate number 45,821. His life reduced to a number. He spent the first few years in disbelief, replaying every moment of that night, wondering what he could have done differently. He filed appeals, all denied. He wrote letters to lawyers, journalists, even TV stations. Most never replied. His mother passed away in 1996. The last thing she said to him in the visitation room was, "I still believe you, Danny. Don't let them take your truth." He carried that sentence in his heart for years. Chapter 5. A world that moved on. By the 2000s, the world had changed. New presidents, new wars, new technology. But for Daniel, time stood still. He watched the other inmates come and go, some freed, some not. He became known as the quiet one, always reading, always writing. Every few months, he sent another letter, hoping, praying someone would open it. And one day, someone did. Chapter 6. The letter, Maya Collins, a law student in Chicago, was part of an innocence project reviewing cold convictions. She was 23, idealistic, and determined to make a difference. One afternoon, while sorting through old inmate letters, she found one that stood out. It was handwritten, every word neat, precise, and painfully sincere. It began with, "My name is Daniel Reed. I've been in prison for 28 years for a murder that never happened." Curious, Maya requested his file. What she found shocked her. There was no confirmed death, no body, no forensic evidence. Even the police reports were vague, filled with assumptions, not facts. Maya read them twice, then whispered to herself, "There's no crime here." Chapter 7. The Investigation. Maya traveled to Maple Creek and met with the retired detective who led the case. He was old now, sitting on his porch, haunted by the past. When she asked about Lena Carter, he sighed. "That case. I wish we'd done more." But back then, everyone wanted it solved fast. People were scared. Maya started digging deeper. She requested old case evidence, but most had been destroyed. Still, something didn't add up. No death certificate, no physical evidence linking Daniel to anything. Then she found something. A missing persons report filed 5 months before Lena's disappearance by her own sister. It mentioned Lena's fear of her abusive ex-husband, who had threatened her multiple times. That lead was never investigated. Maya followed that trail. Bank records, address changes, until she stumbled upon a miracle. A woman living under a different name in Florida, matching Lena's age, description, and handwriting. Chapter 8. The truth resurfaces. It took weeks of legal paperwork to confirm it, but DNA from Lena's old hairbrush matched the woman Maya found. It was her. Lena Carter was alive. She had run away from her abusive marriage, faked her disappearance, and started over. She never knew someone had been convicted of her murder. When Maya contacted her, Lena broke down crying. "Oh my God, you mean he's still in prison?" Within months, Daniel's case was reopened. The prosecutors had no choice. 30 years after his conviction, the truth came out. There was never a crime. Chapter 9. Freedom at last, March 14th, 2019. After 30 years behind bars, Daniel Reed walked out of prison. The sun hit his face for the first time in decades. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just stood still, breathing in freedom. Maya was there waiting for him, the student who refused to let his truth die. When she asked what he wanted to do first, he said quietly, "I want to visit my mother's grave." He did. He placed a white rose on her tombstone and whispered, "You were right, Mom. I didn't let them take it." Chapter 10. Aftermath. Daniel was 72 years old when he was exonerated. He had no money, no family left, and nowhere to go. The state gave him nothing, no compensation, no apology. He moved into a small apartment provided by a local charity. He spent most days sitting by the window, reading letters from strangers who'd heard his story. When asked if he hated the people who did this to him, he said, "I don't hate anyone." Hate keeps you locked up even when you're free. He began speaking at universities about wrongful convictions, often standing beside Maya, who'd gone on to become a lawyer. Their story inspired others to reopen forgotten cases. Chapter 11. Legacy Lena Carter, overwhelmed with guilt, later released a public statement. She said, "I never knew what my silence cost. I can't undo the past, but I will live the rest of my life trying to make amends." Her words went viral. Talk shows, podcasts, documentaries, everyone wanted the story. But Daniel never sought fame. He once told a reporter, "I'm not a story. I'm just proof that the system makes mistakes." He lived quietly for a few more years, mentoring young law students and supporting others wrongly convicted. In 2022, he passed away peacefully in his sleep. At his funeral, Maya placed his old prison ID card on the casket. It read, 45,821. Below it, she wrote one final line. He found the truth. In closing, injustice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent, buried under paperwork and forgotten names. Daniel Reed's story reminds us that justice isn't about being right. It's about being heard. And when systems fail, it takes ordinary people with extraordinary persistence to uncover the truth. Because sometimes the worst crime is the one that never happened.